This past week, I was in the hospital again. But fortunately, it was just a drive-through procedure. You know, I was in and out, in fact. When they mentioned something about keeping me overnight, I said, no, thank you very much. I'm going home. It was Friday, was a holy day, so I needed to be here anyway. But in any case, I was in the hospital. And you know, if you've gone in the hospital for any kind of procedure, you know part of the routine is that at some point they come in and they make you sign a consent beforehand, and they tell you all the things that could go wrong. And my two nieces, God love them, decided that they needed to be there with me. And as they're going through the list of what could go wrong, my one niece's eyes got bigger and bigger, because basically they tell you all of this could go wrong and you could even die, which was not something she needed to hear. And, you know, I just said, I said, it's okay. You know, it usually doesn't happen. Is there an outside chance? Yes, but you're not going to get rid of me that easily, so don't plan on spending the money yet, you know? It's just not going to happen. And so in any case, you know, I went through this and I had the procedure and I came home. But there was at one point, I was alone and had some time to give some thought. And I thought, you know, as I kind of looked at where I was at this moment and the outside possibilities, plus, you know, thinking of the scriptures for this weekend, because when I have some quiet time, I like to kind of plan ahead for what I'm going to say to you. And I thought, well, okay, what happens if you do die? Are you ready to meet the Lord? I'm thinking, yeah, basically I am. You know, are there things I could do? Are there ways I could be better? Yes. But, you know, I think I'm like most of you here. You know, I look around and I don't see any great sinners, you know. Every now and then people will come in for the sacrament of penance and, you know, they'll run through this list of things where they could be better, really. And I just say, do you think you're a terrible sinner? And they kind of hedge or hem or haw, and I just go, wait a minute, don't flatter yourself. You're not that bad. You know, most of us aren't. But could we be better? Yes, we could. We could be more loving, more kind, more compassionate, more thoughtful, more giving. Yes, we could be more. But we're not terrible sinners. You know, when people hear about preparing the way for the Lord, about making changes in their lives to become that better person, they tend to come up with a list of things, and I always think, you know, that's a recipe for disaster. Because the reality is that when we try to change a lot, like at the beginning of Lent, people will come up with all these different penances that they're going to do, and you know that's kind of goofy, because you know what's going to happen is that it's just going to be too much, too overwhelming, and sure enough, you know, they're going to fail. It's just going to happen. It's the way it happens. And so what I suggest is that you and I maybe just choose one thing that we could do better and make that the effort for the rest of Advent, to make one change in our life and do it every day. And I'm going to tell you that that's the way we develop good habits, by doing one thing well at a time. And then when we've got that one down, try another. It's kind of like, you know, Mike started off last week teaching us a song. This week he comes back and he wants more. You know? Now this week the men should sing this and the women should sing this. And, you know, and it's kind of like that's okay. Because if he did that all at once, he'd close the book, put it in the rack, and go, enough for you. You know? because it's just too much. It's a little at a time, just a little at a time. God doesn't expect us to be the best. That's why he's given us a whole lifetime to use each day as an opportunity to become a little better, a little at a time, to grow to become more like Christ. You know, you and I are not worthy to stoop and untie his sandal strap, that's for sure. But in the end, he doesn't ask us to do that. He asks us to follow him and to try each day to be a little bit more like him, so that one step at a time, one day at a time, we grow to become more like him in faith and in love, to be a sign of his mercy, his compassion, his love, to build his kingdom. You know, when will he come? It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is you and I, when he does come, whether it be for me as an individual, for all of us, that we're ready. And we've gotten there one step at a time, growing to become more like him. Isaiah, John, remind us that our task is to prepare the way for the Lord, to prepare for his coming. Not to get ready for Christmas, but to get ready for the Lord, to bring his kingdom more fully into this world in a way that will make it real. A voice cries out in the desert of our time, when we desperately need to see that, to make it real, but just a little at a time, to grow to become more and more. That's all he asks. Not all at once, just a little at a time, but to do it consistently and faithfully. It's not what we are today that matters. It's what we will be. And we get there one step at a time, one day at a time, by doing just a little bit better today than I did yesterday. That's the invitation of Advent. Not to get ready for Christmas, but to get ready for Christ.